Mama's in the living room watching Judge Judy. I'm in the kitchen eating leftover sushi, and she yells, "Oh, girl, you gotta hear this one." A man was arrested for running the theme park, and when they said, "Where's your license?" he said, "My dog ate it." Oh, you can't make this shit up. Sometimes I wonder if life's just one big cosmic joke. It's like she's on a Reddit, reading r/funny lawsuits, yelling from the couch. As she sips on a Prosecco, makes fun of all the weirdos, and then I hear her shout. It's like she's on a Reddit, reading r/funny lawsuits, yelling from the couch. As she sips on a Prosecco, makes fun of all the weirdos, and then I hear her shout. Girl, you gotta hear this one. Mama loves to laugh at how absurd life is, says it's all a comedy and I'm her audience. And I love the way she makes fun of the world. She said, "You'll never guess who's with their girlfriend. It was a man who didn't get us out of the bed. He said, I've been through hell and now I need some help. You just can't make this shit up. You just can't make this shit up." Sometimes I wonder if life's just one big cosmic joke. It's like she's on a Reddit, reading r/funny lawsuits, yelling from the couch. As she sips on a Prosecco, makes fun of all the weirdos, and then I hear her shout. It's like she's on a Reddit, reading r/funny lawsuits, yelling from the couch. As she sips on a Prosecco, makes fun of all the weirdos, and then I hear her shout. Girl, you gotta hear this one.
Hey guys, welcome to the show. I don't know what's happening with StreamYard today. I'm crazy. However, we have a good one today. Because you call this a felony. I call this welcome to the petty party. She called it a felony, so I pulled more documents. Because no one will intimidate me. If my parents can't do it, if a Master Chief telling me to put my foot on footprint next to his desk while he calls me the worst thing that ever happened to the planet, and I fucked up everything with $88 million aircraft, and I am a horrible person and deserve to be shoved back up into my mother's hoo-ha, I can't be intimidated by somebody with way too much lip filler. Anyway. We are going to get into this. This will be a weekly stream because apparently reading documents publicly pulled from a public website is a felony these days. And who am I not to oblige? So, like the Streisand effect, when someone tells me not to do something, I'm going to keep doing it. So, at least once, maybe twice a week, we will be doing a document stream, doing nothing but reading all of Leslie Federico's. Yes, and I said her name because I have a pair of balls. Welcome to my world. We are going to be reading a document from all of them. And we do have, by the way, this particular one. This will not be on the topic today, but we do have that where she was sued for malpractice in 2023. We do have that one. I will not be reading that one today. We are going to make it through the Florida bar. Every document in the Florida bar where she sued the Florida bar, not the Florida bar versus her. We will get into those documents. We touched on them a little bit last year in two separate streams in May and June. However, this is her versus the Florida bar where she sued. And we are going to go into every document that matters in those cases because she lives in a glass house and she threw a giant ass rock. And who am I? Who am I not to oblige when someone wants attention? I'm going to give it to them because that's just the kind of friend I am. All right, guys. Hey. Hey, it's a YouTube friendly version of what was said to me. I was 19 years old at the time that this was said to me. You know, I am doing all right. How are you? I am here, I am functioning, I am upright, and I have no headache, and I am fired up because this is hilarious. Um, this is hilarious. I love when people try to it's the Bruce effect. When you try to tell me not to do something, I'm just gonna keep doing it because that's just what I do. Um, and plus, those who accuse me of making money off of things, all of these documents come from Pacer in this particular one. So I am paying for all of these documents. So none of these are, I am actually losing money on this, but it's entertainment that I just can't get anywhere else. It's a level of entertainment that nothing else can make up for. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And if you haven't, please hit that like button. I would greatly, greatly appreciate it. We're going to try to do a document a day. This one is 26 pages. I don't know if we will get through the whole thing. Um, I know, such a great best friend. I know, I'm so nice. Someone wants attention. Who am I not to give it to them, you know? All right, so this is February 2nd of 2023. She sued the Florida bar. Yeah, I'm definitely paying for these documents and possibly losing money on this. However, it's fucking entertainment that I just can't. Hold on, before we go anywhere. Um, I am having a petty party, in case anyone wants to know, and y'all are invited. Oh, uh, who am I not to pass up this awesome opportunity? Hey, all right, we are going to get into this right now. I have I haven't used that video in a long time. All right, verified complaint for declaratory relief and injunctive relief. Thanks to you too. And please share this out because she wants attention, and why we shall give it to her in the form of putting her dirty laundry. That is public knowledge, by the way. It is publicly available. I did not dig for this very hard. It's publicly available documents. See, when you sue people, because I have heard that she sues people so that things are quote unquote on record. Well, guess what? When you put shit on public record, people have access to your dirty laundry. And who am I not to put that dirty laundry out on the fucking internet? And anyhow, thanks for the $10 super chat. Have you seen Lip's last case against the Florida bar where she is the plaintiff with a woman convicted of CA, Pacer fees suck? This is, I'm not exactly sure which Florida bar one this is, but this is Florida, her versus the Florida bar, not the Florida bar versus her, but she has a long list of stuff. So I'm currently going through one case at a time because if you go through all of them at the same time, you will get overwhelmed. No, this was back in 2023. This is where she sued the Florida bar. This is all Pacer. This is all federal stuff. This is in the Middle District of Florida. So this is stuff that isn't easily available to get. This is stuff you have to pay for to get. That's why not everybody has seen it. That's why who am I to oblige? You know. I don't know. I can't imagine not showing up for something. I don't know. Thank you for being the first person to help a really worthy cause. And hey, Rickles, how are you? All right. Comes now plaintiff Leslie Federico's and sues the defendants, the Florida Bar, and the Florida Supreme Court for an order granting declaratory relief and injunctive relief under the ADA, the Americans with Disabilities Act, the Florida Civil Rights Act of 1992, the Florida False Claims Act, and the Federal Declaratory Judgments Act. Well, here's the thing. I had mentioned a couple of these cases when I had talked about her last year when she first injected herself into this, and then I had not talked about it because she literally didn't do much. Like it didn't advance the storyline. Like it wasn't part of the court cases. Like it really wasn't interesting to me. You know, other people had done things and said things, and it really wasn't that interesting to me. When she dropped the case, I was kind of covering the cases against Jeremy that she filed when she dropped it, and when they sued her, I've been kind of covering that, but not really like digging deep into her background because it wasn't relevant and I really didn't care. However, when she made those accusations, and I had reacted to those accusations because that is a serious thing, and I cover things like that on this channel that have nothing to do with Jeremy Hales. I cover accusations that people make, topics like that, cases such as that on this channel. So I just broke down what she publicly posted to see if it held water. And when it didn't, and then she accuses me of a felony for reading and reacting to publicly available things. I didn't go digging for those text messages. Those text messages were posted in a Facebook group that I had access to. I didn't go digging. I just reacted to what was public information. And when she said that was a felony, now you picked a fight. You picked a fight with the pettiest person on the planet who has time to be petty. Like, I am the busy person, but I have the time and the personality to be a petty bitch when I want to be. Ask my family. So, not being a woman, I do not understand something. Why would she admit sending obscenity to a man and then threaten to sue people because she hasn't given that? I don't understand. I'm a woman and I will never understand sending anything to anybody. No. Mm. Mm-mm. And I'm not out to get anybody per se. It's just you threw a rock at me when you lived in a glass house, and you have a multitude of court cases that you filed. The thing about suing people to get stuff on record is shit's on public record for anybody to read that has the time and the interest. And guess what? I have the time and now I have the interest. We all know who Federico's is, an attorney since 4/22/2017. I remember this was filed in 2023, so before anybody giving her the benefit of the doubt, this was in 2023 when she still had an active bar license. Hey! Florida Supreme Court is the highest state court in Florida. Article 5, Section 15 of the Florida Constitution states that it shall have exclusive jurisdiction to regulate the admission of persons to practice of law and the discipline of persons admitted. It disciplines lawyers with its official arm, the defendant, the Florida Bar. Ricardo Law was roasting Doritos last night over their blog, saying it's a federal offense to read public documents. Yeah, I mean, I love rackets. I just can't. Oh, and the person, who commented on my channel saying Rackets, they only subscribe to positivity channels and then they subscribe to Rackets, has not subscribed to Rackets for very long, because I love Rackets dearly, and don't get this is never taken the wrong way, and he will laugh at this, but like his channel is not the power of positivity is not his strong suit. Just saying. Oh, I love Ricada. I watched Ricada since before Rittenhouse. Rittenhouse was when I really started watching him, but I had known about him since before Rittenhouse. So like, but the person who wanted to hate on me that I was this negative person and they only like, I only have a channel for attention, and they only subscribe and watch positivity channels, and then you look at their subscription list and they subscribe to Ricada Law, and I'm like, that's the funniest fucking thing I've ever seen. Like, don't, and I say that with like, I love Rackets. I subscribe to Rackets. Like, yeah. Oh yeah, but still not the power of positivity channel, if you know what I mean. Just saying. I love Rackets, like, but he will tell you that his channel is not the positivity channel. Do not watch it if you want all positivity all the time. He's not the channel for you. His chat is a very hold on to your, clutch your pearls kind of place. You know, I disagree with Nick's. That one's like, yeah. I'm kind of torn on that one. Yes. Yes, his channel calls a spade a spade. If you don't like it, just stick a brush up your ass and get over it. Yeah, that's what I mean. That's not always positive. And this person who was like, I only watch positivity channels. And it was like, okay. It was just like, yeah, nothing warm and fuzzy on Nick's channel for sure. Yes. Oh, and like I said, I love Nick's channel, but it was funny when this person was like hating on me for not being positive all the time while subscribing to Nick. And be careful when you hate on someone's when you leave a hate comment on someone's channel and your subscriptions are public. Be careful with that. Yes, there's nothing warm and fuzzy. He tells it like it is, whether he likes it, whether you like him or not, he will tell you like it is. There's a reason I have audio recordings of him fat shaming me. Like, there's a reason I made a short with Fricada's fat shaming me, because it's hilarious and it's like, that's exactly what I needed. And jurisdiction and venue. This is an appropriate venue of this action, as it is the Orlando office of the defendant, the official arm of the defendant, the Florida Supreme Court, located in this middle district, that has prosecuted the plaintiff through the personnel in that office in violation of the plaintiff's right under the Americans with Disabilities Act, Florida Civil Rights Act of 1992, Florida False Claims Act, and the Florida Supreme Court. I mean, yeah, I specifically asked him one time with a super chat. I said, I need to lose 30 pounds. And his first words to me was, well, you don't need to lose it. You need to figure out where you found it. So I actually have that short on my JK Films got the audio for me, the clean audio, and I made a short out of it because it's like what I listen to when I don't want to work out and I need to work out. I listen to Nick Ricada's fat shaming. But I also I'll send Nick when he's watching Uncivil's food videos. Like I sent him a picture of a steak I made and I was like, did I beat Uncivil? Yeah, did I do better? Like I said, I don't talk to Nick at all. As far as we don't have conversations, but I'll occasionally send something as is this an appropriate thing to do? Yeah. I'll get a new one. Hold on. Oh, and the clerk of Pinellas County, your website is really easy to navigate as well. It's very appreciated. Appreciated. Did you do? I put it up. Oh, could be a model and she powerless. Yeah, I do CrossFit type stuff. I have a competition in April. All right, getting back to this. And I have all the documents from Derek Rosa up still open. So if I look a little dazed and confused, I literally have 10 documents open on my monitor right now. Documents, not tabs, not windows, just documents. All right. According to the American Bar Association's 1992 report on the Commission on the Evaluation of Lawyer Disciplinary Enforcement, the McKay report, it was recommended to eliminate local disciplinary enforcement as previously recommended in the Clark Report of 1970. However, at least 12 jurisdictions still have significant local components in their disciplinary systems, including Florida. Local components, such as local bar investigative committees, foster cronyism, as well as prejudice against unpopular plaintiffs. Devil's advocate, and we do play devil's advocate here. Some people, even though I don't like her, we do play devil's advocate here, and we call it like we see it. That statement is not necessarily inaccurate. It might not apply to her, and we'll get to the facts later. However, that statement about cronyism in Florida, as we've seen, not necessarily inaccurate. So just a thing. Local components result in lack of uniformity in procedures and in the application of rules of professional conduct. Local components promote delay in the handling of disciplinary cases. The American Bar Association has warned for decades that it should not be in a local bar investigative committee that will apply to the rules of professional conduct to decide whether an ethics inquiry becomes a bar complaint. Under the rules regulating the Florida Bar, the grievance committee decides whether an ethics inquiry becomes a bar complaint. John T. Berry served as one of the members of the commission in the creation of the McKay Report, while serving as staff counsel for the Florida Bar and director of the legal division composed of lawyer regulation, ethics, unlicensed practice of law, which apparently I'm doing right now by reading this. Just FYI, y'all are all committing or aiding and abetting a felon right now, by the way. Sorry. However, Florida is one of the few states who did not take the recommendations of the McKay Report by continuing to allow the fate of attorneys to lie in the hands of local committees that could be prejudicial. In 2020, the plaintiff received national recognition on various news stations for her work in restoring the rights to wards in several guardianships. Yeah, I had heard that too. I haven't seen it. I just, I haven't seen it, so I kind of reserved, like, you know how I am, Sharon. I'm like, until I actually see documentation, but who knows? Maybe we'll hear about it in this. Additionally, during 2020, plaintiff became a guest speaker for the Palm Beach Clerk of Court on guardianship fraud she was encountering within the courts, educating the Guardianship Fraud Division on what to look for within the dockets as red flags to further investigate. Well, you're friends with a wannabe felon because apparently reading documents like I am is reading documents like I am is the unlicensed practice of law. And because I do it on this channel every day, you know. In retaliation of the plaintiff's success in restoring the rights of several wards and guardianships, several guardians and attorneys for guardians began to file bar complaints against the plaintiff. All of the bar complaints were sent to the same local investigator, David Pinnell, and the bar counsel, Karen Bankowitz, for the plaintiff's investigation within the local committee of Orange County. Additionally, the director of intake, ACAP, who determines which complaints will be dropped or pursued, is a member of the Elder Law Attorney Group within the Florida Bar and practiced in the area of guardianship for 41 years. The Florida Bar has a nonprofit foundation that historically has donated large sums of money to guardianship programs in Miami-Dade County. In 2020, according to public records, one of their largest donations of $210,000 was donated to the South Dade Guardianship Economic Development Project. Furthermore, the bar nonprofit historically has contributed large donations to Miami-Dade guardianship programs as evidenced through public records. Exactly. No. I give my opinions on what I think they are as a layperson, but I never give legal advice. No. No. I'm just saying what she said. I'm not saying what she said is right. I'm just repeating the things. Oh yes. I think she was mad because in the video that I had posted where I went through the accusations, I had said if I were Jeremy, I'd be filing a report with the police. That's not legal advice. That's common sense. You know? And I also did read the statute. So apparently if I read out the statute, that makes me a cop. Right, Jeff? Yes. The courts rendered their opinion, and I'm giving my opinion on their opinion. Where I'm giving my opinion on her writing, that I think her writing sucks. Yeah, but accusing people of crimes is the very definition of defamation, which is one of the reasons that she never actually mentioned specific people's names, because that's flirting with defamation, and that's the only flirting she's good at. Absolutely. That's gonna stop now. You're gonna come arrest me? Wait, there will be a sheriff's deputy at my house in like 2 hours. Never mind. Say Rule 26 one more time. Oh my god. See, she can use public records, but apparently the rest of us can't. On February 18th, 2021, the plaintiff terminated her paralegal who criminally extorted her, stole property of her law firm, and having knowledge that plaintiff was unpopular within the elder law community for her work in exposing fraud within guardianships. That's not a complete sentence. Carve a spot on YouTube. She has dug a hole so deep she fell through the hole. Like, am I wrong? But like, okay, so can anybody tell me if she terminated her paralegal who criminally extorted her? Did she file a police report? Because if someone criminally extorted you, you'd be filing a police report and wanting criminal charges pressed, right? Hold on. Oof. It's okay. It's okay. Hey, Maud. You're fine. I can only stand to have headphones on for so long before I lose it. But I'm trying to be respectful because I get loud. Stop. Jeffrey, stop. All mouth, all talk, in trouble. Should I get lip filler? Y'all, we gotta get through this. The plaintiff's former paralegal joined up with an elder law attorney where they engaged in a campaign to destroy the plaintiff's career by recruiting former clients of the plaintiff to file voluminous bar complaints against the plaintiff in exchange for free legal representation. Does she have proof of that, or is that an accusation of a crime without proof or documentation? I'm curious because that would be defamation. Just a thought. Well, she probably threw her paralegal under the bus for her mistakes and used this person as her scapegoat. Yeah. Oh, Debbie Baker, thank you for the 10 gifted Squid Pro memberships. Oh, speaking of that, I forgot to mention it at the beginning of the stream. However, I do have a community post up that is open to everybody, but it will be a members only stream at the end of the month. That is any case I'm covering, even lips cases that we haven't discussed yet. You can put what you think of the case, where it'll go, what case, what you think of the case, and where you think it'll go, and we'll do a members only stream at the end of the month and discuss what comments aged like a fine wine and what comments aged like milk. Possibly. Like I said, I'm not a lawyer. It's just one of those situations where, like, you're accusing people of crimes, but did you ever file a police report, or you just go around accusing people of crimes for nothing? There is a criminal case pending on these issues in the 9th District. Oh, look at that. We'll have to look that up. Despite the plaintiff giving written, voluminous evidence, she likes the word voluminous. I was going to make a comment, but there is much more to that paralegal relationship than you may realize. That in itself is an incredible story. I would love to see your videos on it. I can't wait to see your videos on it. Get to work, get to cracking. Yes, this is all about lips, because when you are in a glass house and you throw stones and you accuse me of a crime for leading legal documents, I'm going to read every legal document you've been a part of that's public record, because I am just that petty. Oh, check my DMs. Oh no. No. Hold on, I have to return a message though. All right. We will have to look up that court case because that is interesting. And like I said, I haven't read a lot of these. I've read bits and pieces of this, but that's why I asked earlier if you had a court case. She said it earlier, but I didn't look it up. Like, I'm reading these with you, not for you. Despite the plaintiff giving written voluminous evidence to the bar, proving these bar complaints were the furtherance of criminal extortion, the Florida bar did not drop these complaints at intake and sent English woman, you're supposed to be smarter than me, to the investigative local committee, and these complaints have remained pending for almost 2 years and still remain pending. The complainant who wrote the bar complaint, who was also the former paralegal to the plaintiff, wrote attorney-client privileged information within her bar complaint, which was adopted by subsequent complainants. The complainant, a former paralegal, took measures with elder law attorneys where she sent her complaint to judges, guardian ad litems, attorneys, and the public. The Florida Bar Local Committee was copied in email threads as she dispersed these complaints, causing harm to 4 of the plaintiff's clients, causing harm to the plaintiff's law firm, family, and self. During this time, plaintiff received death threats against her children, her law practice went out of business, and she suffered grave emotional and mental distress. Once again, you're supposed to be smarter than me. This is where it's like, I'm not a lawyer, but like I know English for the most part. And you're supposed to be smarter than me, but you can't use spell check. Or in this case, Grammarly. That's distress. De-stress is like kumbaya. Leading to the complete destruction of her reputation throughout the legal community and public. The bar had knowledge the plaintiff was treated for bipolar disorder and took no measure to stop circulation of these bar complaints for the protection of the public and the plaintiff. I'm sorry, your treatment for bipolar disorder has nothing to do with you being a shitty lawyer. I'm so... Okay, soapbox. I am so sick of people hiding behind mental health for their shitty actions. It is perfectly fine to have a mental health disorder that you need treatment for. We will never stigmatize having a mental health disorder that you need treatment for on this channel. We don't diagnose here, but we will never stigmatize when someone has an issue. However, having an issue does not an excuse make for your shitty behavior. Just because you have bipolar, depression, anxiety, any other thing does not give you the right to treat other people like shit. That's a big problem I have with mental health. Don't stigmatize it. However, don't use it as an excuse to treat. Your shitty behavior is not due to your mental health. Your shitty behavior is due to your shitty personality. She has limited critical thinking, in my opinion. A lot of people do. And even sometimes I get on stuff where people have to be like, think about that. Like, stop and think. So everybody has their moments, but yeah, lips. I'm ADA protected. This doesn't make you a bad lawyer. It's your morals and ethics, or lack thereof. Ugh. Hey, Sandra. Oh. Hey, Amos girl. How are you? The bar had knowledge plaintiff was treated with bipolar disorder and took no measures to stop circulation of these bar complaints. And okay, last time I checked, I have not read the ADA in about 6 years, but I do not remember the ADA covering bar complaints or the Florida Bar or the Bar Association having to protect you from complaints against your product, your work product. The ADA is generally for people. Generally, this is not me citing the actual law. This is me citing what I used the law for in my personal work, making sure that someone is not discriminated against in the workplace. They are not fired for needing special accommodations like you need to sit down for 3 hours of the day because you have, an injury to your leg. You need a wheelchair accessible bathroom. Like, you can't be fired because you're in a wheelchair. Businesses have to have wheelchair accessible things. You have to have businesses have to be accessed by everybody, no matter of physical limitations. Um, it yes, ADA covers employment to public access and special accommodations. Yes, but yeah, it doesn't cover your work product and you being a shitty employee. It's like your boss can't fire you because you need to sit down while you work while everybody else stands because of your physical health. But they can't it doesn't cover you from being fired because you're a shitty employee. People get that critical thinking piece mixed up. Yes. And there are different pieces to it because it is a pretty big law, but the gist of it, because we had to do an ADA compliant in college, we had to go around in the city in a wheelchair because my school was downtown, and we had to go in like groups of 3 or 4, and one person had to be in a wheelchair, and we had to do an ADA compliance checklist. Go into different businesses and see, can you make it in a day in a wheelchair? How are the buses? Can you get on public transportation in a wheelchair kind of situation? And we had to fill out like a report basically. So it's it's all about accommodations. Yeah, it both in daily life, going out in public and accessing like the grocery store, but also accessing work accommodations. Like, I need to go into an office building. I work in an office. Can I do my job from an office? Is my employer not discriminated against me because I'm in a wheelchair or I use a cane or anything like that? So it's it's also that kind of a situation. And Debbie Baker, I did get your I got a notification for your super chat or your Cash App. And speaking of for Pacer, thanks for the $20. And speaking of this of like super chats and tips and stuff, I did get Ko-fi. I have to um I have to go to the site real quick because I have to make sure that I actually get this accurate because I did it on my phone. Do. But it's ko-fi./squid pro quo. Login. Yeah. Let me just make sure because I forgot to do it this morning before I bear with me for 1 second. I apologize for the interruption. So havefi.com/ here we go. There's my new thing. Somebody told me to try to try to start that, so I did. This. I will pin that. Oh. Oh, come on. Mm. There we go. All right. It's tips that YouTube doesn't take 30%. So drive safe. So it's kind of like super tips without the fun voices. But super tips you have to get on a waiting list. So, you know, it's a new thing. Also, Captain Kern is having to start his channel over. Captain Kern is a very close friend to this channel. He had a video go viral back in the day, and he is being punished for it basically by everybody, sponsors and things like that, basically thinking that his channel is bots and that his channel's not real because when you blow up too fast, apparently that's a thing. So he is um, starting a new channel, and he currently has 17 subscribers. If you subscribe to him before, please go and subscribe to this new channel. Um, yeah, YouTube takes 30%. So if you give 100, YouTube takes 30. This one I don't think takes that much. Yep, Heidi put it in the chat, but I will too. If you like 3D printing and anything done with 3D printing, he is your guy. He knows the ins and outs of 3D printing to the point where I can't even tell you what he does and what he talks about sometimes because I'm like just listening and it's fascinating to me, but it's also over my head and I can't regurgitate it because I don't understand it. However, it's one of those situations where it's kind of the art of going viral can work against you, and it sucks. So, with that being said, yeah, yeah. With that being said, that is his new channel. Please go and subscribe to him. Um, it would really mean a lot to me because he is a really good friend to this channel. And I know that when you're told no a bunch of times on things that you work really, really hard for, it it's frustrating as hell. Because when you put your heart and soul into things and you feel like you're not getting anywhere, it's frustrating as hell. And yeah. And I just want to give him a big ass hug, but he's in Colorado and I can't do that. All right. This resulted in the plaintiff being completely debilitated, where she missed 2 hearings and was late on appeal. Okay, I have a problem with this, and here's my problem. I know this was back in 2023, but she missed that hearing in her um, foreclosure case on December 11th. You have known that you've had bipolar disorder now for 3 years. At least 3 years, because this is February of 2023, it's January of 2026. 3 years. You missed a hearing in December of 2025. What is your excuse? Having bipolar is not your excuse for missing hearings. You're just a shitty at time management, because you cannot blame these 2 missed hearings on your bipolar and you're completely debilitated, because 2025, fast forward 2 years, 2.5 years, you still missed a hearing. That was through Zoom, by all things. Like, just stop hiding behind your mental health, because y'all, y'all. It would be nice if I actually hit the subscribe button on Captain Kearns instead of just sharing his link, right? He's up to 28 now. Y'all are awesome. Y'all are awesome. Like, oh yes, and 246 on ETM. We can do better. I can also do better at actually uploading to that channel. You know. Uh, yeah, it's a brand new channel for Captain Curtin. Because he got punished for and was told no by a bunch of sponsors because he grew too fast. So, not making excuses but for her, but maybe the bipolar was telling her it wasn't very important. Mine acts up and I hate to force myself to do things. Yeah, I can see that, but at the same time, don't make commitments as a lawyer. As a lawyer, like, you kind of either got to suck it up. But in December, what's her excuse then? Like, you didn't show up for a Zoom hearing in December through Zoom, which literally all you had to do is put on a shirt and log into the computer. Preferable to put on pants too, but you get the point. Like, generally speaking. It was just one of those things that I had a problem with, because in this she missed 2 hearings because of her mental health, because of the bar complaints. Well, it looks like Ko-Fi takes 5%. Squid, that's wonderful. 5%, 30%. Wouldn't someone you honestly want to know where I heard about that? I heard about it on Racket's channel, and then y'all don't be mad at me, but I know you guys won't, but somebody messaged me the other day and said that I should check out Stacy's channel because they were playing bingo. And I did, and it was a drama-free time. I didn't play, I just said hi. But she uses Ko-Fi, and I was like, "You know what? That's more than one person that I've seen use this. I'll check it out." You know? Hey, something to bark about. Just hit 323. Woohoo! I recall her talking about not taking meds because she liked the high when the bipolar was affecting her, something like that. I'm not gonna lie, I do not have bipolar disorder. I have bipolar depression. And when you're having a I take medication, so I am all the time. I'm just here. But those upper like those manic sessions, I got to admit though, I said you have all the energy in the world, you can get a lot done. The problem with those is they don't last forever. Yeah. Kofi. Okay. Kofi. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Alfie. I wasn't sure because, like, the bank SoFi is the FI, it's the same spelling, and it's Fi. So I wasn't exactly sure. Yeah. Once my bipolar kicks, man, gotta have my meds. Yeah, I always I take them every night before I go to bed because I'm just like, nope, I like being this. I'm slow and steady. Yeah, well, the downside is that might make you late to a meeting. I get that, but if you've known that you've had it, and taking into account this right here, this document where she says 2 hearings and was late on appeal, it's fine. Okay, take that as an honest mistake, med changes, whatever. However, Um, yeah, it actually uses PayPal. So, um, what's her excuse for December? Because if you know it's happening and you know that it's something that you can do, you should be taking steps. And this is my OT brain thinking. Like this is my brain going into OT mode. When I know that like when I have a patient who's like always late or their medications cause them to take 8 hours to do something that should take a normal person like an hour. We take steps and we make a plan to circumvent that. And how am I going to change or um, modify this in order to not have this problem? You know, that's true. And that's what I do on this channel sometimes too. I'm like devil's advocate. Like a couple weeks ago when I said, or a couple days ago when I said I see what loophole she used and I see the logic she used. I don't agree with it, but I see it. So yeah. It's just a weird situation. After the plaintiff missed these 2 hearings and was late on appeal, the judiciary filed complaints against the plaintiff, as they as they should. I'm sorry, like it. I just don't. Ugh. And thank you for the $5 Kofi. Thank you. I'm gonna have to break my habit of saying Kofi. Kofi. Thank you. I appreciate that. It's the first one ever. Like y'all are like this is definitely a new thing. Like I still can't believe that people support my channel. It's very humbling. Very, very humbling. Whoop. All right. Towards the end of 2022, local bar council for the Florida bar immediately filed 2 formal complaints once the judiciary reported the plaintiff for missing 2 hearings plural, and an appeal, leaving the rest of the bar complaints that had been pending for 2 years in the investigation status. Like, and something to bark about. Thanks for the $1.99 super chat. Have a great day. You have a great day as well. Like, has anyone seen the lawyer in Judge Simpson's courtroom? He has some sort of CP, and he's always on time, on it on it all the time. And people have ways of making things work, and what works for them. And it's just like, and Debbie, thanks for the other 5 gifted Squid Pro Quo memberships. You are awesome. You are just amazing. Like I'm so grateful for everything. And y'all, now none of this is ever taken for granted because I have days where I do streams and like I get like 15 people tops. So like yesterday, 15 people in the Derek Rosa, which I think is a case that people need to pay attention to, but you know, that's just me. Um that's just me. But uh just in case you guys don't know, Derek Rosa is a teen that's going to trial next week for allegedly unaliving his mother. However, they have been trying to remove the judge because it's in Miami-Dade County, and it reminds me of a judge like Judge Grudge. So, I was one of those 15. Why would it be okay if she isn't taking steps to limit the effects of her mental stability? How is that okay for her clients? And I don't know. It's okay to have mental health issues. It is perfectly okay. However, it is not okay to use it as an excuse for why you can't do something. You know? And I appreciate the lurkers. They are so much we wouldn't be anywhere without the lurkers. I know that people can't always chat, I love when people chat, but I understand that people can't always chat. On January 9th, 2023, the plaintiff was suffering from depression from enduring the harassment and humiliation that resulted from the local bar investigation and notified her therapist with the Florida Lawyers Assistant Program, an entity funded by the Florida Bar. The plaintiff gave permission to the local bar counsel to speak with her therapist to validate that she needed to take a temporary leave from practicing law and stabilize her current mental state. However, the local bar counsel, Karen Bankowitz, took no measure to contact the plaintiff's therapist and instead notified a staff member of the FLA who had no firsthand knowledge of the plaintiff's current mental state. I'm so confused. There is no answer. There's no answer. Why is this being why is it being resolved by a judiciary investigation? Yeah. I it you know, sometimes I wonder about shit. I wonder why people have to make things harder than they need to be. And hey, hummingbird. And Calvin, how are you? I just don't understand why people need to make things harder than they have to be. Like, life is hard anyway. Why do we need to go out of our way to make it harder? At this point, but this is like the way this is written, this is not this is more or better written than the complaint we read yesterday. However, I'm going to because it doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me. Uh, at this point, local okay. However, the local bar counsel, Karen Bankowitz, took no measures to contact the plaintiff's therapist and instead notified a staff member of the FLA who had no firsthand knowledge of the plaintiff's current mental state. What does that have to do with anything? Uh, no, and notified a staff member of what? Huh? Huh? Okay, can someone explain to me if I'm missing something because I just um at this point, local bar counsel for the Florida Bar, Karen Bankowitz, told this third party plaintiff was at a self-deletion risk, knowing this staff member was mandated to report to authorities. At 6 p.m. January 9th, 2023, police showed up at the plaintiff's door to Baker Act her while she was there with her 3 small children, traumatizing them. The plaintiff was not Baker acted as she was not at a self-deletion risk. What? This sounds like dereliction of duty by the courts, in my opinion. I'm not really sure what this sounds like. This sounds like a shit show this sounds like an everybody sucks situation right now. I'm not really sure where to take all this. But that's why there's 2 sides to a story, and we will continue with the response. She's talking about a third person because Karen Bankowitz, the counsel for the Florida Bar, contacted a third party instead of the person she authorized them to talk to, which I don't know if yeah, apparently Karen was supposed to do some inquiry into her state of mind and Karen blew it. However, devil's advocate, I don't know if Karen was allowed to. Because just because you give verbal permission, just I don't know if you're allowed to. There might have to be some paperwork that was signed there, and if paperwork's never signed, she can't just call up and say, "Yeah, so and so gave me permission to talk to you. You would need a release of information with Karen's name on it that yes, um, Leslie is able to, or Leslie is authorizing the therapist to release information to Karen. Karen can't just call up. So if Leslie never, so this could be twisted. If a judge requires it, then she has permission, not without paperwork. Not without paperwork. You still have to get a release of information. Yes, you can force somebody, as in the like Judge Mata did with Laura Owens, where she basically forced her in front of her to sign the release paperwork so that the defense or um, they could get her medical information. However, yes, but not in a civil. Not in a civil. It's different with criminal. This is a civil matter. So with the civil matter, it's different. So it I'm not sure. I'm not sure. But devil's advocate, Karen might have been calling that third party to get the release of information paperwork. And Lips might have taken that as, so playing devil's advocate on that side too. Yeah, the doctor wouldn't release the information without the person saying it's okay. There's it's different civilly and criminally. But even criminally, there's still paperwork that has to be signed by the person if they are in a sound mental state. If they are competent. It's even medical information, even releasing medical information to the courts gets hairy. Oh, and Jeff, thank you for the, oh my goodness. Oh, hold on. Like, eek. Jeff, thank you for the Kofi. I'll have to look at the actual. Oh, y'all are. I or a writ signed by a circuit judge. Yeah, and that's one of the reasons that we read this. We take it with a grain of salt, and then we read the response. We just don't read one side of things. So there's that. I have to figure out something real quick. I've not logged in from my on this yeah, asking is not a crime, but it's also not advised to ask if you know that it's not going to be if you automatically know that you're going to need a release paperwork, asking without the release paperwork is kind of a waste of time. But Karen might have been calling to get the release paperwork, playing devil's advocate from the other side. Playing devil's advocate from the absolute other side. She might have been calling to get the release paperwork, and it didn't work. It didn't work out like we thought. There we go. Holy crap. Holy crap. All right. So I actually logged in. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Ugh. I appreciate everybody's the Kofis. Jeff for the $150. Then Ninja Puppy for the $10, Love You Squid, and Musi for the $5. You guys have made my, like, I just can't. Sometimes you just get left speechless that people actually care to support you. Like, I just can't. The crime is the releasing, not asking. Yes. In a nutshell, Lips wants a buy because of her mental health after she accused a judge of being corrupt, a lawyer for lying, and ditching a client to go to a beauty pageant in New York City. Hey, we are reading, and how are you, Lindy? We are reading Lips's lawsuit against the Florida bar in 2023. This was the complaint filed February 2nd of 2023. So, I'm thinking it's one of those things of my parents always taught me to stay humble because just as easily as someone could support you, they can not support you. So never take for granted people supporting you and wanting to spend time around you. So it's like there's 134 people here. About 130 of them are probably people here that want to be here. There's probably 8 to 10 that are like hate watching, which is fine because a hate watch is still a watch. But you know, like, it's a it's a thing. Uh, it's a thing. And yes, oh, and Ammo's girl, thank you for the $10. And that takes 5% and not that takes 5%, YouTube takes 30. So, you know, reminds me of reminds me of Laura ditching court to go compete with her pony. You hate support. Well, everybody should support you too cuz your art is awesome. And I can't do anything that you um y- thanks to those who corrected my pronunciation of Kofi. It's the website does indeed indicate it's a play on coffee. The founder wanted to buy a coffee in appreciation for online assistance. There's also like somebody mispronounced coffee one time and it became like kofefe. So like I kind of thought it was, but then I get, you know, why are they wasting their time? I don't know, but it's a view. So, plus I have had hate watchers that started out hate watching and now are like I wouldn't necessarily call them friends, but are regular viewers and contribute quite frequently and very well to this chat and this community. So like, you know, it's a hate watcher is not always a hate watcher. Um, I fully expected when I went into Stacy's chat the other day, I literally said, I come in peace. Um, because I was sent a message that says, "Hey, we're trying to get her more views than the flea." And I'm like, "Oh, hell yeah, I'll contribute to that." So I went over there and I said, "I come in peace." And you know what? They were really freaking nice to me. So people that generally and you expect that would hate you just because of what you talk about, they don't necessarily agree with, would be really rude or not like you or not be welcoming, were super freaking nice to me. Stacy, Flutteryo was super freaking nice to me. They had no reason to be that nice to me, but they were. So, it's one of those things that don't go out of your way to disrespect people. They might be hate watchers, and that's why you just joke around and you say thanks for the view. And you know, um, when people say, "I'm not Stacy G," I'm not. People call her Nat, but that's not her real name, is it? I have no idea. Like I didn't know who she was until I found out that she got a gifted membership on this channel. And people were, like, laughing about it, and it's like, "You know what? Bruce got a membership on this channel. People are welcome to get memberships on this channel, I don't care. Who am I to turn down, people's support?" You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah, I did get sent that video, and when I went in there on Tuesday, they were having bingo, and they were like it was no drama. There was no talk of pails, there was no talk of anything. It was bingo, and, "Hey, what'd you do today?" It was nice. Uh, it was, you know? Yes, you cannot agree on a topic and still get something out of a stream. Exactly. Ricada. Ricada. I love Ricada. I love rackets. Rackets is fun. You're balanced. Yeah, I wouldn't go that far. Just kidding. And Harry, thanks for the 10 gifted Squid Pro memberships. I appreciate you. Yeah, I love him. I do too. And I can appreciate the fact that he's had his ups and downs, but he is like fully aware and cognizant of it. And he's like, yeah, I fucked up. Like, he's not one of those people that's like, I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't this, I didn't that. And no, he's like, he even makes fun of it in his like, he's like actual felon, like, or actual criminal. Not a felon, actual criminal. Nick, don't sue me. And it's like, when you can make fun of yourself, what other people say doesn't really matter. And that's one thing I really like about Nick is he can, when you make fun of yourself, it's like, you know, um, yes, he accepts his humanity. And I admit that it's going to be a struggle for him. I hope for the best for him. It's like every day is going to be a struggle. Addiction is a bitch. Addiction is a bitch. It's a bitch. It's not like something. So if you see him, and I'm not trying to speak for Nick, I'm just saying from someone who's seen addiction firsthand on multiple levels from a personal and professional side of things, from my career. If you see him have a bad day where he's like, I don't want to do this, like, give him some grace. It's every day is like going to be a struggle. And I feel for him, you know? Yes, exactly. Nick is working hard to come back strong. Exactly. Yeah. So if he has a day where he's just not feeling it or he's just not himself, like it's not like you get over an addiction and you're good. It's just not how life works. Yeah. Oh, I was really scared that we were going to see him overdose on stream. I was really scared. Yeah, an example is the disagreement we had the other day. It did get me thinking about how we could actually address the issue with children and adjudicated adult due to a serious crime. Yeah, for those of you who haven't been tuning into the Derek Rosa coverage, Derek Rosa was 13 at the time of the alleged crime, and is 15 now, but is being held in um, an adult facility, juvenile wing of an adult facility, but he is in his cell 23 hours a day. And Jeff being former law enforcement, and I have slight disagreements on what that means and how that can be handled. But that's just because we have disagreements on it doesn't mean that I think he's a bad person or he thinks I'm a bad person. We just have different ideas of what's appropriate for a teenager. So I love the fact that you don't hide the BS and don't take sides. Yeah, and that's the thing I learned a long time ago. You're never going to agree with everybody 100% of the time. The dude and I don't get along or don't agree 100% of the time. My parents and I don't agree on things 100% of the time. If you agree with everybody all the time, you're either brainwashed or you're just stupid. Sorry, putting it out there. Like you're never going to agree. So when I saw people agreeing with one side or the other all the time, not everybody's like that, but there is a faction of people who are like, who have this hate for Jeremy so much that they can't see basic facts in front of their face. On the other hand, you have these people that like love Jeremy so much that you can't see basic facts in front of your face, that he is not perfect. And the dichotomy, it's like it's a microcosm of our greater society. When your hatred for one person makes your common sense go fucking haywire. And it made me like fascinating. Or you live in North Korea, yeah. Lived with a father who was an alcoholic. When he drank, he was a bad drunk, beat me and my brother for years. I'm so sorry. He eventually accepted his problem and things changed. And yeah, it's agree with or disagree with myself half the time. And sometimes I have this internal struggle because like my heart wants to say one way, but my logic is another. And it's like there's an internal battle of, you know, you're not always going to get, you know, ugh, ugh. I just have to return a text real quick. Uh, um, all right, let's get back to this. There is a 2-day trial set for February 27th and 28th, and plaintiff has requested at the direction of her psychiatrist to have it continued for 3 months on January 10th, 2023 through a filed motion to stay all court proceedings for 3 months to allow her to stabilize herself with new medication. However, the referee refused to grant a continuance and refused to allow an evidentiary hearing on plaintiff's request for a continuance. An order was entered in November of 2022 for both cases against the plaintiff. These two in Florida Supreme Court, citing Rule 3-7.6 that the plaintiff cannot seek any remedies with the Florida Supreme Court while her case is pending before the referee. Thus, the plaintiff has no place to seek a remedy from the referee's order denying her continuance. Sounds like a you problem. Florida Supreme Court order cites plaintiff is again advised that pursuant to rules regulating the Florida bar, all pleadings, motion notices, and orders filed after the appointment of a referee must be filed with the referee, not with the Florida Supreme Court. While this case is pending before the referee, any future filings from plaintiff that are not authorized for filing in this court, pursuant to the rules regulating the Florida bar, will not be docketed in this case. I mean, that sounds pretty that sounds pretty standard. I don't know. Plaintiff requested to consolidate the formal pending complaints in the Florida bar to determine whether they would be pursuing formal complaints on the Florida bar complaints that have been investigative for status for 2 years. So all complaints could be heard together to demonstrate the plaintiff's defense that the humiliation and harassment she received during this 2-year investigation resulted in her missing 2 hearings and being late on her appeal. However, her motion to consolidate was denied without any opportunity for an evidentiary hearing on the matter. It just sounds like she's hiding behind her her mental health. Like I get it, med changes can be a bitch, but you're like and I'm sorry, Carrie, don't get mad at me, but every time I see your name, I think calamari because people call me calamari all the time. And every time I see your name, the first thing that comes up is calamari. Lips is always the victim. Thank you. On January 23rd of 2023, plaintiff was again given the staff investigator's report for the first time. Was given the staff investigator's report for the first time. I criticize her writing. It would be nice if I could actually read it. So, you know, that leading to a finding on probable cause for 2 of the counts in the formal complaint, where it was discovered that the staff investigator, David Pinnell, submitted false reports, easily verified by reading the transcripts, among other verifiable evidence that was not listed, but has been turned over during the investigation. Leg warmer, lady. Hey, Juliet. Hey, Juliet, how are you? Oh, sorry, your name. The plaintiff has reached out to the Inspector General's office to report the false report, among other issues. However, she received a written letter that jurisdiction on any matter involving the Florida bar would need to be taken up with the Board of Governors. And I understand, and I understand, and I see your side. I really do. However, if you have a mental health issue, you need to make sure that your mental health issues are taken care of and not affecting your professional life. And it sounds like doesn't it sounds like she lets them affect her professional life and then uses it as an excuse. Instead of being proactive, she is reactive in how I and I understand. I understand. Oh, this week I do. It's cold as hell down here. It's 40 degrees today. Was like, and Carrie's a dude. He's a dude, by the way. Man. Don't misgender. Just kidding. Don't misgender. Um, I see your point. I do see your point. Because generally that's how I am too. However, from someone who has bipolar depression, and among a host of other not mental health issues, but medical issues, including my brain falling out of my skull, it's this is a good point. Just saying people who have bipolar and other disorders, if they cannot monitor themselves, sometimes people who love them help monitor them, keep them out of trouble if she is aware she has an issue. And that's another thing. She has a husband who is also a lawyer who should know her medical issues. I mean, and be aware of what she's taking and what she's not, and ensuring that, hey, when you're on this, these are my side effects. This is what happens to me if I don't take it. Communication between your spouse is a huge thing. And oh, yes. Hey, that's me. This 90% service connected disability, still a super B. Like, it's sorry. Unsubscribe. No. It's gonna be cold as hell for the college football championship game. I mean, that should help Indiana, right? Mm, you know, I know it's just the leg warmers you made for Megan. Oh boy. After posting my 14-month milestone, I'm heading back out to the shadows, person. Bye. Drift to the shadows. Oh, dude, one thing that's on the list for the new channel is a seated like yoga video. Seated exercises are on the movement minute checklist. And every movement minute is going to have a seated variety. So for you, specifically, because I know you and I had talked about that like 2 years ago. Hey, King Paco. Speaking of potential hate watchers that ended up being very, very good addition to this channel, King Paco, how are you? I feel much better today. Hope everyone didn't catch what I got. Yeah, the virtual crud. So I made sure to make every movement minute on the other channel will have a seated variety, a standard variety, and a progression for athletes / weekend warriors. So, all right. Let's see. Okay, y'all. Who's blowing up Discord? Discord, you got to go real quick. Okay. Do you need seated exercise? My other channel. I thought that one through. Um, when I get around to it. During the plaintiff has repeatedly notified the Board of Governors as to what's taking place during this 2-year investigation. However, no one has made any effort to contact her to resolve any issues. Devil's advocate, I can see that being stressful. 2-year investigation, you don't know what's happening. You believe that some of these are fake. Whether they are or not is sometimes when you get things in your own mind that's what they are, that's what they are. During the Florida Bar's disciplinary investigation that started in 2020 and remains pending, the bar has accepted voluminous communications with the complainants and has been to the point of contact throughout each investigation against the plaintiff. The bar has been noticed and aware of all of the actions the complainants were taking against the plaintiff, included actively campaigning and publishing false and discriminatory statements against the plaintiff during the investigative process, while hashtagging the Florida Bar and staff investigator David Pinnell. She likes the word voluminous. Yeah. Voluminous discriminatory statements and false statements were publicly published through social media with the Florida Bar hashtag on it by the complainants. Statement published that plaintiff is crazy, has a personality disorder, is a criminal. Sorry, I know this was back in 2023, so 3 years ago now. But chick, you just called me a criminal for reading documents such as these. So, like, you really need to, like, pot meet kettle. And I'm exposing your BS because you are something special. You know? Among numerous other comments with the Florida Bar hashtag. Florida Bar was made aware and noticed on this by the plaintiff several times during the investigation. Plaintiff requested to have the complainants cease including the Florida Bar's name on these false and discriminatory statements published to the public. These false and discriminatory statements were being published during the investigative process that was supposed to remain confidential. Eh. Yeah, it's just funny how she gets mad when someone calls her a criminal, yet she calls other people criminals. The hypocrisy in that. When she has an active at this time had active investigations, I don't call what they did correct. I don't call what anybody did, especially putting it online, like, that's just not my style. Um, however however, that being said, like, people did that to Nick back in the day with the whole Kiwi Farms crap. They put a bunch of bar complaints in with the Minnesota bar, um, that were just bullshit, so it happens. Not really my style, making false reports on people, just not really my thing because that takes time and effort and, stupid false complaints. There's complaints and then there's false complaints, But she was upset that she was being called a criminal, but yet she just called multiple people criminals and wonders why we get upset. Yes, we are all you are all conspirators. This quits felony. Yes. Yes, and if you all know, that doesn't matter who it is. I hate hypocrites. I hate hypocrites. Like, I hate hypocrites. Um, it's just my thing. Um, well, guess what? Guess what? Guess what? I have a I have a sheriff's deputy coming over to my house this afternoon to, so, like, I'm, is what it is. Um RICO charges upcoming for all of us. Speaking of that, when I get my credit card bill paid off from the Christmas holiday, because I overspent a little bit, there will be Botox in here. So if y'all want to contribute to Squid's Botox fund, just let me know. Because I gotta get rid of this. I'm thinking if I get rid of the what the fuck line, that people will not think that I'm so angry all the time. We had a conversation yesterday on the Derek Rosa thing of I joke that I don't play well with others when people make me mad, but in general I don't go out of my way to be an ass. But people always think I'm yelling, and it's like, no, I just passionate. I'm just talking. Even Mr. Squid will be like, why are you yelling at me? I'm not. But I'm thinking if I got rid of the WTF line, that people wouldn't think I'm mad and my RBF wouldn't be so bad. But maybe. But yes, the Botox, the headache fund. I am not. Yeah. Yeah. Not related to any of this. Not related to any of this. It's just a coincidence, to be perfectly honest with you, that the person coming to my house today to get some stuff from me is a sheriff's deputy. He goes, "Oh, I work at the sheriff's department." I'm like, "Yeah, I know." He was like, "How do you know?" I'm like, "Because before I give anybody my address, I investigate them." Thank you. And it's more there's an alternate reality with that one is I wanna see if they help with my migraines too. So, you know. Honestly, it's good. I don't think it'll make a difference. And it may not. And it may not. Botox or commissary funds. Oh, yes. Contribute to my commissary funds. Your rusty bitch face. It suits you. Yeah, but I'm not sure the other moms in the car pickup line will. Yeah. Oh, take for me? Well, thank you. Oh, bye. No, he knows what I do. He knows what I do. He might be watching now. All right. The Florida bar was made aware of the notice by the plaintiff several times. The plaintiff requested to have the complaint cease, including the Florida bar's name on these false and discriminatory statements published to the public. Rule 3.7K states response to false or misleading statements. If public statements that are false or misleading are made about any otherwise confidential disciplinary case, the Florida bar may disclose all information necessary to correct false or misleading statements. But shh, you're not supposed to tell anybody. The Florida bar was noticed and aware of several false and misleading statements made against the plaintiff by the complainants to the public and the legal community, yet the Florida bar failed to take any action to stop it. This has highly prejudiced the plaintiff in the legal community, causing extreme scrutiny with various judges and lawyers, ultimately contributing to the influx of bar complaints by attorneys. I believe people can see the wrongs on each side. They just refuse to acknowledge because it has been this side against the other side. In all actuality, it's not a game, but real people's lives. Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of my alternate, like, you know. That's true. However, because she called me a felon, and she didn't name me by name is because she's flirting with defamation, not actually giving it, but people in the chat did, and I have all the screen recordings. So it's kind of one of those things of like, she sues people to get it on record. I already have a lawyer ready to sue her for defamation. So I highly suggest that she doesn't. I don't want to, but she has a track record, and remember, um she has let's put it this way. She has multiple cases out there where people are actively trying to label her as a vexatious litigant. So, mm, you know, I wouldn't. I wouldn't, especially mhm. Yes, the suing just needs to stop all the way around. Just because you don't like what somebody says is not does not make it illegal. You don't like somebody talking about your fucking how many times you sue people? Stop suing people. I mean, you don't like people to talk about your transgressions and your bullshit? Well, stop putting it on the motherfucking public record. Stop airing your dirty laundry in public and expecting people not to talk about it. It That's true, but it would be to defend myself. She's handing out felony charges for becoming educated, that's a first. Um, how many cases has she filed? I have seen 1, there's been some filed against her. Um, we read that complaint yesterday. Oh, no. Oh, there we go. I disappeared. That was weird. She sued her mom. She sued her mom and her in-laws. Mm. Hey, Shelbel P, how are you? Good to see you. Yeah, it's just one of those situations where, like, you just because you don't like something doesn't make it illegal. Um, but also don't get pissed about people talking about your dirty laundry if you put your dirty laundry on the public record. Um, I cannot confirm this, but I've been told by multiple people that she sues people to get it on record. Well, guess what? When you sue people to get it on record, it becomes public record and anybody has access to your private crap. Stop putting your fucking private life in the public record. If you wouldn't have sued your mom and your in-laws, no one would have known that they were talking shit about you. No one would have cared that they were talking shit about you. But now everybody can look, point, and laugh, and you become a laughingstock. Sometimes it's just good not to put shit in the open. Don't put your it's like the people who stay off social media are generally the happiest. You know, you see all the couples posting like all of these happy pictures and all this. Generally the couples who don't post on social media that are the happiest kind of situation, you know? Ugh. To be honest, I think there are underlying agendas and people like Fleesa play games to get people to hate certain people. I'm positive people get people talk shit about other people, get people to hate other people, and then sit back and watch the shit show ensue. I'm convinced. They sit back, grab popcorn, and watch the comment section just, you know? Oh, and Shelbel P, thanks for the $20 super chat to help wherever you need. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it so much. It's going to all these documents because, you know, having fun. I'm kind of having fun with this. It's just yeah, and I'm convinced. I don't know. On April 1st, I heard there's going to be a surprise. I don't know. I don't know. And I come at this from I just want truth, and this is just a I would have never read any of this stuff if someone didn't uh call me a felon and start talking shit about me. type where if like Bruce, he threatened me, talked shit about my kid, threatened to call CPS on me through various other um alt accounts, and then laughed about it. I filed a police report um, for all of that, and then wonders why I don't like him. Wants me to not talk about any of this. So what do? I talk about it. The only reason that I started talking about it because I was like, everybody sucks. I don't like either side of this. But both sides have done wrong. I don't think anybody's perfect. But he didn't want me to talk about it. He tried to intimidate me into not talking about it. So what did I do? I talked about it because you want to fucking be petty? I will be petty. I'm better at it. So Lips tried to fucking intimidate me. All I did was comment on her video. And regardless of whether I like or hate Jeremy, taking Jeremy completely out of the equation, breaking down her accusations and the plausibility based on what I know as a YouTuber and what I know about content, and also just what I know about being a woman. I broke them down. Are they plausible? Regardless of whether I like or hate Jeremy was not even a part of it. It was, can anybody break these down using common sense logic and just look at it? She got pissed. Called me a felon without saying my name, but everybody knew who the fuck she was talking about. Without saying my name, called me a felon, tried to intimidate me into not talking about any of this shit. So now we are going through every lawsuit that I can get my hands on, starting with her lawsuit against the Florida bar, because it's on Pacer. So not many people have access to this one because you need a Pacer account. And don't fuck with someone who has a Pacer account when you have documents on Pacer. And Leg Warmer Lady, thanks for the £1.99 super sticker. Thank you. It's good. I love your opinion on how these complete sociopaths become esquires. And I'm not diagnosing anybody. I'm just repeating your comment. But it's if this is mean. If a walrus falls in Florida, is a tsunami warning issued to the European and African coast. Shut up. That's mean. I am not the skinniest bitch in the world. So I cannot, you take Botox for migraines, does it work? Wait, shut up. Y'all are instigating shit. Stop. Stop instigating shit. Gail, that's Juliet. You know Juliet. That's Juliet. Leg Warmer Lady is Juliet. You know her. FYI, the Fed 3 appeal will probably take up to 18 months to go to hearing. They do host it publicly for those who want to watch. Oh, thank you. Oh, I will. Jeremy has not criticized people with children that are doing it right for their child. No neglect, threatening to spank a child in the mouth. Yeah, and I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. Like, every once in a while, you want to give your kid a good little smack on the butt, but you don't freaking announce it to the world and just for her talking. Like, no. No. This is making me laugh. I love your petty. I have been petty all my life. No, it's fine. It's fine. I just recognize the picture. I just recognize the picture. So my huge divot is giving me what huge divot? Oh, do you see the no-see-um bite? So I have you're making me self-conscious. You're making me self-conscious. Stephen, I have a no-see-um bite on my forehead, which left a nice divot. Ooh, you and I have to talk. You and I have to talk. You and I need to talk because I on my other channel, I'm starting a Pain Chronicles series up again, and I'd like to talk to you because that sounds familiar. That you sound like you have some same issues as me. So pettiest voice good chose the Navy as they have petty officers. Yeah. Oh my goodness. uh uh if you're on Discord, look me up there or email me. We'll talk. I promise nothing about this. Just the medical stuff because my background gets curious. Oh yes, and thank you. This is my other channel. This is my my channel that has nothing to do with any of this stuff. That's what I went to college for. This is where we laugh and make fun of things and make fun of the ridiculousness in life and talk about hard topics. That one is my career. Under 371A, a complaint is not to disclosure information. Oh my god, English woman. I'm glad y'all are here with me because she's making this very hard to read. Oh. Oh, yes, and I do not disagree that the facts lead you to one side. Yes. Um, that's what I'm saying. No side is perfect, but the facts lead you towards one side. It's, the facts lead you towards one side. I blew out a bit desk in my back. I think I remember you talking about that. It's just now starting to settle. Yeah, Sundays we have fun just hanging out, join us, evidence through motion, and it's done before Jeremy. It's at 7:00. It's 45 minutes to an hour. We are done before Jeremy. Come join us. So she's making this hard to read because I'm like, I'm sorry. If you're supposed I always say it, if you're supposed to have a higher degree and lawyers, this is not limited to lips. This is lawyers wide. Randy does this shit too. Every lawyer that I've ever seen and ever read any documentation for does this too. If y'all are supposed to be smarter than me, run your shit through Grammarly so you don't do this. A complainant is not to disclose information. Y'all are supposed to be fucking smart. You're supposed to be smarter than me, and 95% of you will not hesitate to let the world know how much smarter than the rest of us you are. So, why are you so smart? Yet you can't your basic English is it's a pet peeve. It's a pet peeve. Squid, I'll see you Monday. Oh yes. Devil fan, can I out you for a second? I do have the ability on my link tree to schedule a free like intro session, a 30-minute session to like discuss like home issues for OT. Not treatment, but just like if you have questions for me instead of trying to email me or write them in chat. A one-on-one session face to face through Google Meet that is completely free, and a face-to-face 45-minute intro session for corrective exercise that is free. I have a corrective exercise certification. You can book both of those through my link tree. They are free. Devil fan, I will be meeting with him. He is my guinea pig on the how Google Meet will work, and how that will work compared to like Zoom. But thanks for being my guinea pig on that one. Educated beyond their intelligence. It's yeah, yeah. It's it's one of those situations where like you're supposed to be very smart. Yeah, well, the VA declined mine or declined to give me them back in the day. Uh, and I would have to drive an hour and a half to get them, you know. This lady does it quite often. Even Randy does it. Every lawyer does it. It's not limited to her. Some do it more than others, but like even the defense attorneys for Jose Baez's law firm. And Jose Baez was the law firm or the lawyer who defended Casey Anthony. Even his law firm did it. So it happens to everyone. However, it annoys me because, when you get lawyers, 95% of which who will not hesitate to tell you that they are a lawyer and will not hesitate to act like they are smarter than you, can't get proper grammar, drives me nuts. It's like one way to like drive squid up a wall. I know that's petty and stupid, but like, ugh, like, hey Venom, how are you? Uh, uh. It should be in the link that you signed up for. It should be, they emailed you a link. It should be in that. So, During the investigation, a former paralegal for the plaintiff published her bar complaint against the plaintiff throughout the public and the legal community, which contained information protected under attorney-client privilege involving the plaintiff's clients. The former paralegal/complainant published and distributed attorney-client privileged information in that case in Pinellas County, where Judge Pollock served as judge. Wait a second. Oh no, different judge. The Pinellas County case that we will be looking at next, if we ever make it through these 60 some odd documents in this case, is Honorable Judge Amy Williams. It's a malpractice case out of Pinellas County. Jennifer Bingelli versus Leslie Federigos et al., aka Leslie and Michael. So there's that. But good to know that there's more. Girl, you something else. When she published statements to the lawyers, guardian ad litem, and judge in that case from her bar complaint, as a result, the plaintiff had to withdraw from the case to avoid attending a hearing that was ordered by Judge Pollock, where the plaintiff would have to testify against her own client to negate the statements former paralegal published to the court. This is so weird. Yeah, that happens a lot. I mean, that happens with doctors too. Sharon, I could go into like a whole members only stream about like the shit doctors say, that it's like, you didn't really just say that, did you? Like, you were very intelligent, but you just did. No. Yeah. It's a Ironically, after this ordeal, Judge Pollock files a bar complaint against plaintiff for missing a hearing and imposes several sanctions against her. I liked it better the other way. There's Kern's channel. So just so you know, guys, if you're just joining us or you've been lurking, Captain Kern had to start a new channel due to unforeseen circumstances and sponsors and stuff being incredibly crappy towards him. And there is his new channel. Yeah. So we are trying to make him grow. Yes. The bar was notified promptly by the plaintiffs to the actions of the former paralegal was taken, yet did nothing to stop it. The bar's failure to stop former paralegal, from publishing her bar complaint all over the legal community caused even more damage to the plaintiff and her clients. The failure to act by the bar caused damage to the plaintiff, her clients, and interfered with the procedures of the court, wasting valuable time and money. The former paralegal complainant's bar complaint remains pending for reasons unknown, despite voluminous. She loves the word voluminous. Affidavits, evidence, witnesses, and being directly connected to a criminal case, evidencing these complaints were in furtherance of criminal extortion. On February 7th, malpractice is extremely hard to prove, especially medical malpractice. Extremely hard to prove. Extremely hard to prove. Yeah. It's almost pathetic how hard it is to prove. On February 7th, one of the individuals involved in the criminal conspiracy, Kyle Fletcher, Esquire, appeared in another case where the plaintiff was attorney of record. Oh shit, now I understand where I've heard that name before. I'm so sorry, Sharon. I'm so sorry. So, Kyle Fletcher, in the case of Pinellas County that we are going to cover eventually, the plaintiff is being represented by Kyle Fletcher. And I can't show you the screen because it has the plaintiff's address on it, and I'm not about to, and it has Lips and Chips, the address on it too. However, the plaintiff in this case, Jennifer Miles, her attorney of record in this case that was filed 1/11/2023 was Kyle Fletcher, Esquire. So it just kind of interesting, the crossover. That case in Seminole County, and noticed in a filing for and pleading of interest where he specifically requests the court to overturn a favorable ruling for the plaintiff's client, referencing the bar complaint filed by the plaintiff's former paralegal. Under the Florida Rules of Ethics for Disciplinary Investigations, they had a duty to keep attorney-client privileged information confidential and could have taken measures to protect this information when the Florida bar was copied in emails when this confidential information was being dispersed to third party. Hey, Sandra. It's all contrived. Yeah, it's interesting to see the differences or the names cross over. Because I was like, when I read Kyle Fletcher, I was like, I knew I had seen Kyle Fletcher over again. Yeah, no doxing to play it safe. Especially like people have seen her address by now. However, one, YouTube terms of service still don't like it, and two, there is a completely innocent party in this case. The plaintiff, Jennifer Miles, who I have never seen before, has never done anything to me, nothing like that. She just so happened to be the person who brought this malpractice claim against the Federigos. So I thought I'm extra cautious when it's people who are not involved in any of the online drama or anything like that. Definitely protecting their, even though their stuff is still online, it's public record, protecting their address and their information a little bit more than everybody else's is just super important. Plus, just treating other people like you want to be treated, and just not like, I don't want to be doxxed, so I just don't dox other people. Every once in a while, something happens by accident, but it's never an intentional, like, here's somebody's address. No, we just don't do that. Because I live by by Jeff's mentality of be better. Vices. Rest in peace, my friend. Scope of confidentiality, all records including files, preliminary investigation reports, interoffice memoranda, records of investigation, and the records and trials and other proceedings under these rules, except in disciplinary matters conducted in circuit courts and property of the Florida Bar. All of these matters are confidential and will not be disclosed except provided in these rules. And it goes into more disclosures prohibited in Chapter 4 of these rules or by statutes and case law regarding attorney-client privilege. And we went into Chapter 4 a lot a couple years ago when we were discussing Bruce and the bar complaint. During 2021, while plaintiff was involved in that case number in Miami-Dade County, former paralegal emailed her bar complaint containing privileged information to another lawyer, opposing counsel, former president of the Florida Bar, along with the plaintiff. During this case, Ms. Foster Morales and the judge assigned disrespected the plaintiff so bad that the judge was forced to recuse herself in this case. I'm curious to see if that's true. There are only a few examples of how the paralegal further threat of criminal extortion against the plaintiff by use of distributing bar complaints. If that paralegal really did that, that is shitty behavior. But like, you know, to bar complaints to the courts and legal community, it has been determined that this former paralegal has distributed a bar complaint to over 50 recipients, as well as sent mass emails to over 55 of the plaintiff's clients containing this complaint. Yet after repeated requests for the Florida Bar to cease these actions, they continue to fail to do so and continue to keep her bar complaint under active investigation against the plaintiff. The investigator, David Pinnell, has been appointed to handle all investigations involving the plaintiff. The plaintiff informed the bar and David that the onset of the voluminous complaints. Should we make voluminous a drinking game? Just saying. That had been filed against the plaintiff, that the majority of the complaints were made in furtherance of criminal extortion and conspiracy, along with written evidence, affidavits, witnesses negating these claims alleged in the bar complaints. However, the bar failed to investigate this evidence, nor did they include it in any reports given to the grievance committee prior to their probable cause findings. Important to note, the bar continues to keep these cases open that were in furtherance of carrying out criminal extortion. This case, and we will look at that criminal case because I don't like her, but if there's a criminal case against somebody, I want to see, because you have evidence, I want to see it. You say this person was committing a crime, I want to see it. The bar hasn't noticed and allowed their investigation to process to further out crimes of extortion, conspiracy, unaliving threats to the plaintiff's young children, ADA violations, this. I believe there is a suit brought by that paralegal that has a whole different story. Oh, and I'm here for it. Discriminatory public harassment against the plaintiff involving the bar, names being distributed to the public within the public statements. Plaintiff endured severe emotional harm from the investigation process for 2 years and continues to endure harm, ultimately leading to the decline of her mental health. So this is what did it. And resulting in the plaintiff's most recent bar complaints filed by judges. Important to note, the bar has notice of the plaintiff's mental state in July of 2022 when plaintiff reached to the Florida Bar requesting to take leave from the practice of law due to her mental health and directly related to actions she endured during the bar investigative process that could have been avoided. I hear AARP protected. Oh boy. Yeah, I went over, so last year, for those of you who weren't on my channel last year, I went over, well, there's two different bar, for one, there's two different bar things. there's the bar versus her, and then her versus the bar. Last year, in either May or June or both, I did 2 separate streams where I did nothing but talk about her issues with her lawsuits. Um, but this is her during or her versus the bar. But I went over a lot of this last year, y'all just weren't here. However, that being said, when you accuse me of a crime, I'm gonna go over everything with a fine-tooth comb. So I kinda skimmed over some of it last year, and I glanced over it, but now we're going through everything with a fine-tooth comb. And what rabbit holes, that leads us down, like the criminal complaint, we're gonna keep looking, and we're gonna go down rabbit holes because as you've seen in my intro video, I'm a rabbit hole deep diver. I brought my climbing gear so I can get myself back out of it. But I covered the bar versus her, last year when people were talking about, her being retiring versus being stripped when people were in that mindset and she was talking about suing everybody. I wanted to look for myself, so we talked about that on a stream. But this was her, versus the bar, and this is on Pacer. So, um, those other documents were not on Pacer, I don't think. Those were documents that were sent somewhere, and I got them somewhere else. These documents I had to get from Pacer. So, um, these are if you don't have a Pacer account or somebody doesn't have a Pacer account, these ones you won't see. But there's 60 or 80 documents in this case. So we're gonna go through all the ones that matter. All right. In 2022, one of the criminal conspirators, whom has never been a client to the plaintiff's husband or ever communicated with him, filed a bar complaint on the plaintiff's husband, Michael Federigos, who has practiced law for over 20 years with no disciplinary record. And I hate people that are like, Judge Dugan did this. Judge Dugan's lawyers were like, well, she's practiced for over so many years with no criminal record or no record. It's like, you don't have, it doesn't matter if you have a clean record. It's not what you did in the past 20 years. It's what you did like this year or yesterday. So it's, yeah. It's, Gail, this happened years ago. Hospital settled right away, but doctor's practice fought the claimant hospital's problem. However, our position was the surgeon solely responsible for supervision. Yeah, and that's another problem you get is like hospitals when you sue. It's the doctors have privileges at hospitals, but they aren't necessarily hospital employees. So there's a loophole. Make it make sense. Orange County court documents in Florida also, I understand. Yeah, we went through some of the Orange County stuff yesterday. We went through the initial complaint of her suing her mom and her in-laws. But I wanted to get to the Pacer stuff because I like Pacer. Because yeah, I like Pacer. But also, I've been covering Derek Rosa the last few days too. So I needed a break from talking about child incarceration and unaliving. But he goes to trial next week, so we might do this again tomorrow, and possibly Monday, depending on when the trial starts. Monday night and Tuesday night I have to work, so we're probably going to be doing trial catch up Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, depending on when opening statements and stuff start. Because a 15-year-old is going to trial in Miami-Dade County for unaliving his mom, and has a judge that makes Judge Grudge look like a saint, in my opinion. So, there's a lot of documents everywhere, and we have a very, very busy schedule coming up. But Derek Rosa's trial shouldn't last more than 10 days. Hey. Yeah, 20 years of having a clean record or 20 years of not getting caught. Well, there's that too. What is this work you speak of? Shush. Oh, yeah, my dad will be down here tomorrow too. So that during a conversation between Michael Federigo's and an investigator, David Pennell, Pennell confided that the bar was only keeping this case open because he is married to the plaintiff and proceeded to attempt to pressure him to write an affidavit against the plaintiff and he would drop Michael Federigo's bar complaint. I don't know if I necessarily believe that, but hey, we'll see what the response to this says. Thus, the Florida bar attempted to extort plaintiff's husband to give statements against his wife by holding an unwarranted bar complaint as leverage. His bar complaint continues to remain open to date. To be fair, the Florida bar clearly falsified staff investigators' report, resulting in finding it for probable cause, placing the plaintiff's property, which is her law license, at risk by reporting false information that was material in the grievance committee's finding probable cause against the plaintiff. Oh my goodness. Some court transcript from a hearing. I want this court to be aware. I think I'm obligated to tell you, Ms. Rodriguez herself signed a conditional guilty plea for consent judgment of her own ethical violations. In the investigative memorandum by Pennell, staff investigator, and turned over to the grievance committee, he states, Ms. Federigo states at the beginning of the hearing that took place on September 9th, 2021, Mr. Lundy immediately stated the court that Ms. Federigo's is on probation with the Florida bar. Oh my God. Oh shit. Thus, once again, staff investigator makes false statements in his report regarding the plaintiff, prejudicing her with grievance committee by making it appear that is dishonest. She's just weak. Complainant was not notified of a $1,000 sanction until June 21st, 2021. How are you not aware of a sanction? I'm just. However, he in fact spoke to Mr. Federigo, who verified he was there on May 12th, immediately following the hearing, and witnessed firsthand the plaintiff informing complainant that she was sanctioned $1,000 for failing to comply with a discovery and proceeded to tell her that she needed to pay opposing counsel directly on the specified dates ordered by the court. Oh my goodness. Oh, these people are weird. Staff investigator falsely alleges complainant did not know about this hearing and in result was sanctioned. However, complainant never made this allegation in her initial bar complaint filed August 2nd, 2021. Why are you all of a sudden mentioning the complainant? Plaintiff has reached out to remedy these issues several times with the Board of Governors. However, this has continued to be ignored. Oh, declaratory relief. Yeah. Plaintiff seeks a declaratory judgment in the following issues. Direction on relief from referee's order denying the plaintiff's continuance when the plaintiff cannot seek relief from the Florida Supreme Court. And we already read that. Clarification whether the Florida bar can take measures to protect attorney-client privilege information during their disciplinary investigations. Specifically, what measures the Florida bar can take to protect this confidential information during a disciplinary investigation. Clarification as to why the Florida bar refused to take the recommendations of the ABA McKay report. You're never going to know that. That gave recommendations that would have prevented, have taken place. Oh my God, the English, the woman, your English. Oh my goodness. Count. Somebody in the chat, please give me a good over-the-counter migraine medication because when she talks about this ADA or accommodation, I'm going to flip my shit. The ADA, Title II of the ADA applies to and restrains states and state agencies from discrimination against citizens on the basis of disabilities, real or falsely imputed. The court shall be open to every person for redress of any inquiry, and justice shall be administered without denial. Right to access the court is specifically mentioned in state constitution, and therefore it deserves more protection than the rights found by only implication. Okay. Okay. So I'm confused here. So far, every filing I've heard you, Shizzy, or Mug read, either Lips or the opposing party, brings up her mental health. Ugh. It's. But here's where she keeps talking. She keeps bringing up case law with the um, ADA, which attorney's bipolar disorder was disability under the ADA. Fine. But you never. Plaintiff should be afforded meaningful participation in her trial and be allowed to adjust her new medication for 3 months before participating in her trial as recommended by her psychiatrist. See, that's there's the difference between providing accommodations and making okay, how am I going to put this where having used the ADA the ADA oh shit. I'm trying to find the OT way of saying this. The ADA does not it affords you meaningful protections, but it does not absolve you from responsibility. And the ADA is designed to afford you accommodations on working hours and or protections. And I'm not sure how the ADA protects mental health because the last time I actually read it was like 2019. The last time I actually went and actually looked up the ADA was like 2019 or 2018. Not really sure which one. So it's been quite a while. However, not sure how the ADA does with mental health. But it does not. There's a difference between being provided with reasonable accommodations and being provided with special treatment. Yes. And Gail, I've had headaches ever since I was like 10. So it but the ADA does not protect you and does not shield you from being a shitty human being and does not give you a shield to be a crappy employee. And that's what I can't get past. Like, stop hiding behind the fact that you have you have bipolar disorder. Yes, it sucks. Yes, you need treatment. Yes, you should have reasonable accommodations. However, reasonable accommodations are not special accommodations. You should not be treated specially and get special treatment because of your mental health. Also, having a mental health disorder, depression, anxiety, bipolar, whatever, does not absolve you from being an asshole. Ask me how I know. I don't use like I can be bitchy. I'm a bitch. Let's put it that way. But I own it. I don't use, oh, I'm a bitch because I have anxiety. Or I'm a bitch because I have depression. No, I'm a bitch with depression. That's how that's yes, it's not a thank you, Barb. It's not a license to use bad behavior. Exactly. Ugh. Mm. but she's not explaining what was not she's never in this, she's never explaining what wasn't done for her except she oh, they didn't give a 3-month continuance on a trial because of my psychiatrist's recommendation. That's not a 3-month continuance on a trial because you're changing your meds is not a reasonable accommodation. It sorry. I'll look at the law, but for a mental health medication, I don't think 3 months is a thing. Furthermore, plaintiffs should not have to endure discriminatory statements about plaintiff's mental health that was published and tagged with the staff investigator's name in the Florida bar. When they had full knowledge, they could take measures to stop it. I don't disagree with this one. She has a point. I don't know if this is true, but if this was true, paragraph 49, I don't disagree with her on this one. She shouldn't have to. But guess what? Sometimes we have to do things that we don't like or aren't right. I don't particularly love the hater comments that I get in my comment section, but you know what? It's part of being a YouTuber. It's part of having a quote unquote public presence. It's not necessarily the most fun part. It is kind of fun to laugh at the stupid ones, but that's beside the point. Um, but it's just part of being and having a job where you're in the public, quote unquote. Stats show 37 people have what she calls bipolar. And it's just I and it's hard because it's one of the things of never discount someone's mental health. Mental health is important. Coming from an occupational therapy assistant perspective and having a book right there, like we have one of my textbooks from college. So, mental health is very important in my college career and like my career. Um it's just one of those things if there's a difference between acknowledging and not stigmatizing mental health, but also not using it as a freaking shield for bad behavior. I highly recommend that Theramed Universal Reusable Ice Pack. Oh, you can strap it to your head. I don't know. I'm like, it's kind of one of those things of like, I had brain surgery to get rid of my headaches, and sort of it works, and sort of it doesn't. Um, I don't know. My brain was falling out of my head. My brain was so big in 2020, the doctors had to cut open my skull and put my brain back in my head. I used the VA, so take that one with a grain of salt. I just got an email or a direct message today from a doctor that said, pharmacy denied one of your medications, so talk to your doctor and get lab work done. I'm like, or get new lab work done. I'm like, great, great. But yeah, so I have a patch on the back of my head that that's attached to my skull. And when the weather changes rapidly, like going from 75 one day to 40 2 days later, my brain gets a little pissed. So yeah, my brain gets a little upset. So all right, Florida civil rights. We're almost done with this. Um, Under Florida Civil Rights Act, duty to accommodate is triggered only when an individual makes a request that is direct, is specific, and identifies how it links to his disability. That's what she hasn't done. And that's what I can't figure out how she's done. Maybe it's just me, but I can't figure out what she has done that you know? I just can't figure it out. The existence of a disability is a prerequisite to entitlement. Ooh, fucking hate that word. To a reasonable accommodation under the ADA and Florida Civil Rights Act. Under the Florida Civil Rights Act, the duty to accommodate is triggered when an individual makes a request that is direct, specific, and identifies how it is linked to its disability. Yes, but it's also reasonable. Reasonable. No. It's good. Temperature's dropping 40 degrees here, and you're so close. You're feeling the drop. I'm hurting so bad. I was out crying yesterday and today. Yeah, I don't know. 75. I felt great. Great. Yeah, yep. Today, not so much. I went to get my IV this morning though, so hopefully we'll start feeling good. Plaintiff requested the court to continue her trial for 3 months, as recommended by her psychiatrist. She keeps reminding us that she was referred to it by the Florida bar, the Florida FLA. It's like Florida's all right. And I have to get going in a minute because that guy is on his way to my house to get what he needs. But the Florida False Claims Act, she does it again. She hides behind her mental health. It's 25 in Milwaukee today. Yeah, that's why I'm not in Milwaukee. I have family there, but not here. Demand for a jury trial. So that was filed by her. Remember, this was back in 2023. So this was back in 2023. So it's a while ago. So we are not, this is not new. However, we are going to send you over to Throwback Thursday retro trial with Flux and Flux and Megan, but we're going to go to Flux's channel. Show Flux some love. Tell her I said hi and I sent y'all. And I will see you guys on the next one. Tomorrow, we will continue to go over this. Y'all have a great rest of your day. And thank you so much for hanging out with me. And we will do this 1 to 2 times a week, going through every document of every trial of everything that I can find. Remember, we have her, the malpractice suit that was filed in Pinellas County against her January 11th of 2023. We have that one to go through as well, and any more that I can find. I have a lot of them. Bye, guys. Y'all have fun.